So very warm welcome back, everyone. This week's topic is a very unique and interesting topic of server-side rendering. So last week we built a React application. Now what happens is React UI application. We built the UI for our e-commerce platform. What happens is React ships the JavaScript and the underlying code to the browser, our browser, and then builds the pages on the fly on the browser itself. That is called client-side rendering. Here, our browser is acting like a client or a receiver of information, and then they are the client is rebuilding the entire stuff. Uh, this is sometimes necessary for projects and the systems which need browsers features. For example, if you want to render some sort of chart or something that is unique to browser, you can build that on the client, and you need the browser APIs. So the browser itself provides APIs, and you need the client integration for that. But for many opportunities, rendering the code on server side can offer many benefits. Some of those benefits are performance guesswork. So how much data is rendered on the client side and how much time it takes to repaint this entire website. That performance guesswork is taken out of equation if we are able to render this entire web page. If we are able to render this entire web page on the browser, on the server, I'm sorry, and then ship it to the client. So what do I mean by that? So let's do this. If I go to my network, I'm getting the entire page, this page that is built on this entire page that is shipped to me by my server, and uh, there is no other stuff that I need to rebuild on browser. So what I'm seeing, this entire HTML, company directory, and etc., everything has been sent to me by the server to render on the browser, and I don't need to do any processing of anything. Um, this is really great for search engine optimization as well. So what is search engine optimization? So imagine you built your website, you want to launch it. You want Google and Bing and everything else to also uh, index your website and show it at search result. So let's assume that you are into fitness and you created a great blog, a fitness blog with your thoughts and your maybe meal plan and everything. But the search engine optimization uh, techniques, if you did not follow for example, for this kind of content, to use server-side rendering and you dynamically added the stuff on the client, those search engines might not be able to parse your details more nicely and more accurately. Instead, if you build the entire web page on server and then rendered it on the first go on the browser, you will be able to uh, obtain a better search results through those web crawlers, as we call it. So it's a very interesting topic to build the web page on the server and then ship it to browser. And in Express.js that we have been using for our Node.js backend, there's something called EJS, which allows us to build the pages on the server. So what happens, for example, first we need to add EJS as a dependency using npm install along with express.js in our Node.js project. And then we start building our different pages. So this is, if you see our website, it has home page, engineering department page, design page. So home page is essentially index.js, where we are building a web page, HTML-like code using EJS. So this is not HTML, but HTML-like code. And you can also include comments as well. And it allows us, EJS allows us to include some sort of logic as well. So here with this notation, we are trailing EJS to include partials.header. So before this content, if I go to my partials.header, so please include my entire website's header, header section. So this header section, the blue bar that we see, we are just coding it once and including it in all our pages. This is our index page. This is our member detail page. In every page, we are including our header by just coding it once. Similarly, in our department page also, we are just including it once. Similar to header, at the end of our content, we are including this blue footer as well. So that's why header and footer, they are the EJS files, but they are inside partials and they will be reused across the entire website. And similar to this, you can build all the pages. And first the pages are built, and EJS again allows this kind of logic as well, where you have member.name is your member name. This is a logic where member is a variable and you include variables value here. And this notation allows you to have if-else condition. For example, we have former employee, inactive employee, those kind of conditions we are using, we are leveraging using this. And once we have our web page built, we just simply use them as API route. And for example, for slash, which is our index.js, we pass the variable team members and stats. This would come ideally from database. I have hard coded here. So our data comes from our different variables, and that is getting passed to our EJS code. And then EJS code can refer to this variable. So for example, let's go to our index.js and we have passed not this one. We have passed team members, and we have the condition for each team member. We are creating this card. So we have the for loop to create for as many as these team members are there. And we are rendering this cards. So like this, we are defining our routes. Hey, for this, show my homepage. For each specific member, show me their member page as well. So this is the route that shows the member page that we saw. And we also have the department page as well. And similarly, we have a 404 page as well. So if I try to do, we have the 404 page where this page does not exist. Sorry. So any confusions on EJS and how we are building the web pages on the server side? Because once you guys are clear with this, I want to bring to your attention another important topic about the server-side rendering. I know I covered a lot of stuff and I spoke a lot of things in last 10-15 minutes, but ask me again if you're not clear and ask me to repeat if you guys need me to repeat.
May
I'll
I
wait
ask?
5 seconds. Sure.
May I ask a
Go ahead.
question? So in the tutorial, we had the server side rendering explained, right? In the previous
Right.
lesson, we didn't have a React. For the final project, do you know what do we need to build the full React
I
side, or
suggest to build it using React.
they expect you
And
to build the React part, or?
I think take the detail from your project reviewer. But if you had to take my opinion and if they allow, right, do it
Mhm.
in React. Okay. Don't
Would
do it
you,
in EJ. And that's the
I,
next thing I'm coming to. Don't do it in EJS.
okay, will you be sharing this code that you
Yes, I
showed
will be
me?
sharing this code. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
I will be sharing the entire code that I'm explaining here. But if it was to me, I would build my final project as Monstack, MERN, where it's Mongo, Express, React, Node.js. Okay. And I don't think they would restrict building the final project in any of the frameworks.
Also,
But I haven't
quick.
checked on it directly, but I would think why would they? I don't think they would object to it.
Oh, quick question. I saw the percent sign in your file.
Yes.
I missed the last class. Is that some library you're using?
So this is EJS code,
Okay.
which is templating. It's essentially it's templating. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a HTML-like code where this percentage, so EJS code identifies by this percentage and dash means you have to include this file in this file as well. So what happens is essentially this means replace this percentage means this part means essentially replace my percentage and I sort of copy this
EDX. Okay.
and put the entire code here.
Mm-hmm. Just a whole file. Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Uh, so and similarly, this notation means use the variable stats and so its value totals. Stat totals. Uh, Also, this means logical code where we have the for each. Uh, so EJS is good and still being widely used in React and widely used in Express. I'm sorry, but in my view, and general industry practices, uh, industry is moving away from EJS, and many of you might have already heard, but there is a new favorite framework in the market. This is not included as part of your course, but it's my responsibility to let you guys know where the industry is heading, which will help you prepare better for your interviews and everything, is Next.js. So this is not part of your course directly, uh, but Next.js is a powerful framework by Vercel, which helps you build server-side rendering, uh, which helps you do the server-side rendering, which EJS also allows, and it is extremely powerful um, in terms of it's much more flexible and much more powerful and much more modern. Uh, so while this course doesn't cover the Next.js. I highly recommend you guys to study Next.js as well. And I have a simple project already on this, and I'll share the code for this project as well. Is I had built a small project where if you see uh, this thing chart, this is client-side rendering, where something like a chart needs a browser APIs. So I'm building this client-side code and something like a table, something like a table. It doesn't need any kind of client rendering, a simple table. So I'm using server-side rendering for this. So that's quick about the uh, quick about what this project contains. But if you see, I'm pushing the entire table code on the server directly, from the server to the client directly. And this is a server-side rendering. And if you want to see what client-side rendering means, uh, you do this. All of these things, if you see, right, I'm hovering over. This is dynamically changing content. This is where you need detailed JavaScript execution. Each point uh, actually interacts and shows a new value. This is where you need client-side rendering. So client-side rendering is not going anywhere. In fact, it's very famous. But server-side rendering is also becoming very famous. And Next.js is leading the way into it. I have an entire article. I'll give you this link to you guys as well. You can read through, but this is very practical, just like our projects. How to create this, um, how to create this project, how to what what files to modify the code in. But essentially, if you look at the uh, code real quickly, right? Uh, this is my uh, components, which are very very React comp. These are actually React components which I'm building. And whenever I want to use a client-side rendering, only special construct I have to do is use client. This is something very unique to Next.js. Again, this might get complicated too quick, too fast for you guys. So I'm trying not to make it too difficult to understand, but still trying to give you the most important pieces. Is Next.js allows you to build server-side pages as well as client-side pages on the go. And it also allows you to connect to the APIs to fetch this kind of data. So you could have your Node.js Express backend and then build your front end using Next.js if you wanted, uh, and use server-side rendering. Uh, I would recommend doing this only when you're comfortable with React first, and then dive deeper into Next.js, because Next.js is written on top of React. But Next.js is the most famous server-side rendering framework currently, and EJS is losing its charm. And I don't see many companies asking for EJS experience, to be honest, nowadays. But it's good to learn EJS because EJS nicely integrates with our current study of Node.js and Express and stuff like that. So, and then I'll open the floor for questions for any Next.js topic that you guys might want to cover. Else, I suggest you guys to study this article in your free time and try to run this code, if you have extra time. Again, not part of your coursework, but I highly recommend because that's where the industry is going and that's where the jobs are requiring. Any confusions on this? There are a lot of server side rendering uh, frame in React frameworks. There are other famous frameworks as well. React Router, Gatsby. React Router is very famous as well. Um, So, but yeah, Next.js continues to lead the market, and React Router is closely following, and many people are adopting to React Router as well. Again, I have entire both of this code available for you guys to pull in and study, But yeah, first focus on EJS code because that's what the coursework requires, and then spend time on Next.js. I'll stop speaking.